Hi everyone, Soul Super 17 here. Let me get first like usual. I do not own this pictures. Non-paid video. And I made a thumbnail. So, gonna try and make basically, Deku solo leveling. I know where I'm gonna go. Mostly it's gonna be mostly, I need to try to figure out though, how was the introductions to like new hunters into that series from the solo leveling was gonna go, and I kind of just realized why not just have it where Deku decides to go on a vacation. And for some reason though, I was like, wait a minute, hold up, I am not all the way into the series, watching my 15 videos of it. I need to watch more, so I'm gonna do that the rest of the day, and hopefully I get to, see where I was at fully. And yeah. But I can let you know this. I'm gonna make this video along with basically what if I was in Damanchi, and then try to basically get the second part of the Fates, the 7 servants bell done. And I'm also thinking about making another bell what if, but it's a newer one, and it's a symbiote, like Venom, but there's a slight twist to it. You'll find out. Yeah. So, let's just get this thing started already. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time. I need to stop rambling on all the time, though. So, yeah. So, this is What If Bell was the reincarnation of Kakashi. Part 1. Now, we're not going to start off with Bell suddenly remembers who he is. No, we're going to give you basically a good explanation on where it all begins. So, we have Kakashi, and basically from Boruto. Sorry, I'm trying not to gag a bit when I said that name. It's not that I don't like it, Boruto. Time skip Boruto, sort of, what I've seen of him. It's just I just cannot. I don't want to acknowledge it, but I have to in this. I'm not saying it's bad. Everyone has their own taste. Everyone can have their own opinion. You guys like it, you like it. I'm not gonna say, how dare you liking it? No, I'm not, besides that instant. You guys like it, whoever does, I'm not judging. Honestly, I have no place to judging people. I literally don't. You guys want to choose to watch something, you guys can. So, tell me if I'm wrong, though, that Kakashi is a lot more stronger in Boruto, though. But anyways, so, yeah, we have a Kakashi, who, I don't even know the end of Boruto, because I've not been following that, basically, anime. I've not been following it at all. I refuse to watch it. Okay, sorry, rambling. But yeah, so as I was saying, we have Kakashi. Old man Kakashi, basically. Who's just, well, in his room, basically, lying down. And just for the sake of it, I'm saying Boruto did save Naruto Hinata. And, because I did follow some of it. Don't know much. But yeah, and basically Sasuke is there along with Sakura. Boruto and Sasuke and Sakura's daughter, which I can never say right, Sadara, maybe? Naruto's other kid, his daughter. Hanami? Not Hanami, her name is really hard to say, but you know who I mean, but yeah. Basically, they're all around Kakashi. Kakashi just basically, well, still wearing a mask and basically looking at all of them and, well, just chuckles. Which Naruto says, Kakashi Sensei. Which, basically Naruto's, tearing up because it can sense, well, basically what's happening to Kakashi that he's going. He goes, Naruto, don't worry about me. I lived a long, good life. Which then he looks at Sasuke and Sakura. And basically he just, still look at them with pride, that they've grown so much. Even though basically he didn't really train Sakura much, he still has pride in the person she's become. Basically he does say though, Sakura, I'm sorry for not helping you out basically, well, as much as I should have when I was your sensei. Which Sakura just won't nod and he says, yeah, you should have. She basically, there's tears going down, as in Sasuke is just looking at Kakashi, even though he's not basically, crying as much as, well, Sakura is. Basically, there's tears still coming down, which he goes, uh, I actually would be surprised if you actually were, well, we're not crying. Which basically Sasuke just says, actually, you wouldn't be. Which basically Kakashi would just have a slight chuckle at that and just nod. He goes, to be fair, I'm glad basically you actually are crying. This shows basically the type of person you have become now, Sasuke. And basically Sasuke doesn't say nothing but just nods and he looks at Naruto, who basically, is the one who's most emotional. Which basically Kakashi just says, Naruto, look after your basically family and your kids. And kids basically. Which Naruto just nods, he goes, I will. And which basically, Sasuke's looking at Naruto, including Hinata, Boruto, his daughter, Sakura, looking at him, he goes, I'm sorry that I may have hated you a bit in the past, which, before he can say anything more, Kakashi just says, no. I deserved it. I neglected your training unlike with Sakura's. And I favored Sasuke. I failed you on that part. But I was happy I was able to at least help you. Well, at least create the Russian Shuriken. Which, basically Naruto just kind of chuckles. He goes, you didn't fail me. You tried to instill, try to get me to understand that I couldn't rely on basically flashy jutsu, so I had to learn more. I was just being hot-headed and an idiot, like usual. In which basically Kakashi just is not laughing at that, nor is anyone else, but basically Kakashi just says, but still, I should have at least done something. Realize that your chakra control, even though I knew I didn't, focus. As though Kakashi's taking a deep breath, quicker deep breath in and out, which basically Kakashi realizes, he's gonna go soon. He just says, but it doesn't matter. You became a Kage. You basically saved the world. I never suspected that, but I am very proud of you, Naruto. Boruto. Basically, he just says, you are basically an ego, but not as much as Sasuke. Which Sasuke is like, you're just looking at Kakashi, goes, really? Which he just shrugs and be like, you did have a massive ego, not Kakashi, a massive ego, Sasuke. And I think Boruto got that from you. Which basically Boruto goes, hey, it wasn't that big. And then basically Kakashi just, actually has a good laugh at that, because it reminded him quickly of when Naruto. So he goes, basically, everyone kind of could hear it and they couldn't help but chuckle at that. But then, basically, he'll look at every one of them and he will say that he's basically glad, you all were here in his life. And in his final moments, he truly thought he was never going to have anyone around. As just then, two people came in, Guy and Lee. Basically, Guy still in the wheelchair goes, Kakashi! Crying tears, basically. He goes like, my eternal rival, we will meet someday, and I'm here for you, with my flames of youth. I don't know why, I just thought of doing it like that. Probably cringe. Really cringy. I know, but still. Which Kakashi instead of basically goes like, what do you say? He goes, same old Guy. Which, basically, that shocks Guy. And then he goes, thank you, Guy. You're someone that I truly, basically, I'm glad you were in my life. You may have been annoying at first, but as basically Kakashi, slowly starting to, tear because he knows he may not say it, so he's trying to rush. It was, so I wanted to let you know that I truly, basically, Guy and Lee basically are seeing Kakashi go, as long as everyone else, which basically Guy is worried. He goes, Kakashi! As he goes, and then basically, Kakashi say, truly enjoyed my friendship. And, well, then he goes. Which guy basically was shocked to hear that, as everyone else. Because, people may have known, but for Kakashi to say it, this basically makes guy cry, basically, along with everyone else that Kakashi passes. Now, we have Kakashi in this area, this room, as basically, though, he's opened up his eyes and he goes, huh? Huh. Where am I? Is this supposed to be the afterlife? Where's my dad? Minato-sensei, Kushina-san, basically, Obito, Rin? As all of a sudden, basically, a door opens, as someone comes in, basically, as he's just curious that he realizes he's sitting down on a chair and there's a table right in front of him, as he's just thinking, is this an enemy? But, that shouldn't be. As this person's sitting down, basically with a file folder of Kakashi, in which, basically, they simply open it up, and they go, Kakashi Haddock, right? Well, Haddock or, Hataki? Yeah, it's Hataki. I don't know why I say Haddock. I think because of... whatever. Let me just double check. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure I basically got the pronunciation right. Because this is one of the characters I like from Naruto. And then Shippuden. So, it's Kakashi Hataki? Yeah, I was right the first time. Because of freaking watching other Naruto what ifs, I hear different pronunciations, and so it's kind of messes with my brain a bit. Maybe I didn't notice how they were saying it, and just like my brain just does it either way. But anyways, enough of that. Which Kakashi goes like, and sorry to be rude, but who are you? Since you know my name, it's only basically polite that I know yours. Which basically this person just laughs, and well, with this person, kind of has this light around them that he can't see, and then basically they're like, oh, well, I need to get rid of this then. And then all of a sudden, basically, the light disappears as Kakashi sees a elegant woman with basically, well, flowing, I would say, golden hair. Basically, some of it basically is changing color. Eyes basically as blue as Naruto's eyes, but clear and basically showing so much light and life in it. Basically, fair skin and basically, just in a sense, a beautiful woman. As he goes, are you, Cammy? Which, basically, a god, basically, Naruto's god. Kami or Cammy, whatever. Which, basically, though, they will nod. Well, she will nod. He goes like, yes, but since I'm a goddess, or god at times, I can, change my looks into a man or woman. Doesn't really matter. But it doesn't. But for this point, I thought being a woman would be a lot more easier for you. At which Kakashi raised up an eyebrow. Goes, because you have a fear of women sometimes when they get angry. Which Kakashi just has a sweat drop. He goes like, he just coughs into his hand. He goes like, well, I guess basically know everything since you are Cammy. So I'm not going to deny that or basically argue. What's that file about? He goes, everything in your life, I've read it already. And, you have, taken a lot of lives. Which Kakashi realizes he's being judged, and he basically gets, he basically sitting up a little bit straighter, basically, and she nods. He goes, well, I do basically, I'm glad that you're taking this serious to not being so, slacked in your posture, but do not worry, you are being judged to see if you're the right candidate. Which he raised up an eyebrow. He goes, if it's for your position, I don't want to deal with the paperwork. Which, that just had her sweat drop, and basically she's like, no, I already know the secret to it. Which, he's just blinking, he's like, I see. Anyways, which she just nods. She goes, continue on. A candidate for reincarnation. You see, this dimension I want to put whoever in, a new world that I watch over, I want them to basically have all their memories after a certain age, depending on who they are. In which basically Kakashi will nod and basically take this a little bit serious. He goes, so this is a mission. She goes, yes. A mission to basically become a hero in this world. An actual hero. Say for you, like you're basically sensei, Minato Namikaze. Your father figure. After your father died. Along with your father himself. Which Kakashi does not solely. He was a hero. Which basically goes, yes, you see, there are things in this future that are going to happen that, well, are going to become very, very bad for the poor soul that I was sent there. And to be frank, the original person, Belle Cronell's soul was going to, well, may handle it, but at the same time he will fall into despair so much he may change, and I'm worried for his sanity. So basically Kashi just says, so you're sending someone there to become Belle Cronell along with his original soul to help him, or should I say, them to deal with the stress of that world. She goes, uh-huh. And I thought, why not ninjas from the one of my dimensions I watch over? Along with basically any of their other counterparts. Which he goes, counterparts? There's a multiverse of you. Which there's always different versions. One where basically you train Naruto only. Another one where you basically did not care for him at all. And one that you try to kill him. Different versions of you, different places, and I've met very, much of those ones that have tried to kill Naruto, hate him, ridicule him, along with have even been part of one of the beatings, or, a couple of the beatings when he was a kid. Where Kakashi's eyes widen and killer tent basically fills the room, as then she can see the anger in his eyes. He goes, how? As basically Cammy waves her hand as Kakashi calms down. She goes, Kakashi, it was not you. I'm only telling you this so you know I basically had a wide variety of people here. Different versions that I thought would help. But a lot of those people were corrupted. You are, or variants of you. Some were corrupted by power and, pride. But there were others that basically declined to offer, like many others like Hashirama Senju, Tobirama, Hiruzen. They all said basically they did not want to be reborn. And they would like to be with their loved ones. I know you may say exactly the same thing, but your record and basically your choices in life, the choices you made and the ones to focus on, you were just trying to do your best, and you do have regrets. You see, you're willing to do anything for, basically your village, your students, and basically your comrades. You're basically willing to take responsibility, for that. Or basically to sulk around basically at a memorial stone, regretting everything that you've done. And mourning still. In which Kakashi just basically waiting for Kami to get her point. In which she goes, and with this new life, you will basically grow even stronger. You see, this new world you'll find out eventually if you take this option. But I just want you just to know this. You basically will lose yourself, all your memories of who you were, until a certain point in your age. Near-death experience, or when you're going to think you're going to die. I was going to have that, but I thought a certain age would be good. A certain age, you'll be, back. But your old personality will be gone with just the knowledge of your old memories and such. And then along with basically you, deciding if you're going to be basically Belle Cronell or Kakashi, or a mixture of both. And you must tell your goddess or god that you will basically be a part of their familia, which you'll find out in that new world of yours if you take this option. Which Kakashi was about to ask, and then he quiets. And, well, with your track record of missions, and basically, well, you can have a whole new life that basically yours and Naruto's life is very tragic amongst many people, like Sasuke Uchiha's and Itachi Uchiha. I basically want to wait for Sasuke or, well, Naruto, but I can't wait that long. Which basically, Kakashi just blinks and goes, what about any variants of them? Which basically Kakashi was thinking she had to have some of them. Which she goes, oh yes, I met some of them. Especially Sasuke's. Which he can tell Kami has a lot of disgust when she says that. Which he's like, how bad were they? Prideful, arrogant, believing basically they were gods. Demanding my power, or when having my female form to basically make new Uchihas. Which he just smacks his head. Yes, the civilian council spoiled that boy way too much. There were a few of him that were very kind, very nice, have changed, but didn't think he was the right person, and Naruto said he's not going to become another child of prophecy again, or he didn't want to basically, be in a new world since he had basically his own world's loved ones that have died that he would really want to see. Some were just too broken, and they didn't want to basically be around no more. And I tried to fix those worlds when he was broken, so I couldn't, send him basically to a new world to suffer anymore. If he basically chooses down the path. Which basically, Kakashi goes, choose down the path? Every choice will have a different outcome. The consequences of your actions. Which Kakashi then understands. He goes, my apologies, Kami. I thought basically it was all set in stone. She goes, no. You'll have your own basic path you want to follow. You can follow it. I'm not going to hold your hand like a child. Which he understands. She goes, which she just then asks, so, do you accept this offer? Which Kakashi just sighs and be like, so, when I will get my memories? 14 years old, give or take. It could be 3 months in the middle of basically your 14 years, basically, before you hit 15. Who knows? But basically Kakashi will just nod. He goes like, yes, your chakra. Your chakra is going to basically be turned into magic. And you may have a good amount of chakra, basically, to do some jutsus. I would say, for right now, basically, as an old man, or when you were basically an adult, you were S-rank shinobi with, Jonin level chakra, but when you lost our Sharingan, you became basically Hokage level chakra. I was thinking about limiting it, but I figured, why not give you high Jonin to Hokage level chakra for basically your, moves. Your jutsus, basically. Which Kakashi eyes wide and goes like, is that even good? Just give me a minute, I forgot to do something. In which he goes, well, it is going to appear right away, and you'll be able to basically get your magic stronger. So yes, I want you to basically have it all. Your chakra will be festering in you, be sealed inside of you until you basically hit 14 years old and get all your memories back. So, of course, basically I'm giving basically at your prime. Your Hokage prime. Which Kakashi's eyes widen and goes, anything else? He goes, oh no, everything else you have to work. You just get your chakra level increased to your magic. Chakra / magic. Hokage level. So you'll have enough to basically make a shadow clone or two. To help you basically train, because you're going to be very weak with this system that they have there. I can't give you basically that much besides that. Oh yes, you also may get the Sharingan back. Which, his eyes widen and goes, wait, if I get the Sharingan back, does that mean it's only... He goes, both eyes, no repercussions, don't have to kill no one. You basically just have to train yourself and become certain levels. You see, at level 1, at a certain point, you'll get the Sharingan. Level 2, you basically will get the Mangekyo Sharingan. Even level 3, you'll get the, well, maybe Eternal. Level 4, Eternal. And after that, don't know. Which his eyes wide and he was like, so that means, yep, I'm not going to tell you anything more than that. Oh, yes, if you want any summoning jutsus to basically get Pakun and your dogs back, unfortunately you can't get that. Maybe I will sprinkle in basically summoning jutsu. But, you'll never know. Well, Kakashi, are you ready? Which, basically, he takes a deep breath in and sigh, be like, fine, I'm ready. Which, basically, she goes, good. Oh, yes, by the way, you're gonna be an innocent kid. So, no Icha Paradise either, which, that doesn't exist in that world. Which, his eyes wide and he goes like, no, wait, please. I need my books. But she goes, nuh-uh. She has an evil smirk. She's like, yes. And you may change, basically, on your taste on books now. Which he goes, you're cruel, Cammy. Which he goes, I know. Have fun. And he just, disappears. But here is also, he then hears this also. He goes, also, don't wear a mask. You look good without it. Which his eyes wide, he goes, my mask wasn't on. And so, now, it took me a while to go through that, but now, basically, we do have Bell waking up. This is basically the day after the Minotaur, and basically when, basically after, when he gets Realis Freeze. Basically, though, Bell's getting up, and he sees Hestia, basically, on him, sleeping on him, and he goes, goddess. Wait. He's blinking. All of a sudden he gets up, throwing her off of him. And then he runs over to the mirror. And he's looking at the mirror. He goes, I'm back. It worked. Which he hears Hestia goes like, Belle, what was that for? Why did you get up like that? When she turns around and goes like, goddess Hestia, I'm sorry. But she basically goes like, when she just hear him muttering, I was like, I'm actually back. I can't believe it. Well, she goes, Belle, what do you mean by back? Which he goes, sorry. I actually, how should I say this? Which he goes like, wait, Goddess Hestia, I need you to basically update my stats. Which he goes, alright, Belle. Which, all of a sudden, basically, when, Belle would take off her shirt, basically, with, revealing his phallus. Not phallus, whatever. Phallus, there we go. When she basically, pricks her finger, activates it, and basically it comes up and she starts basically updating. It goes like, we updated yesterday, nothing would change. Basically, Kakashi is an S-rank shinobi, last time I remember. And since he became Hokage, he may have gained the chakra reserves because of the Sharingan, where he kept on feeding his chakra constantly. So basically his chakra levels have become Hokage level. So I would say his magic level in this is high S. 2S rank. So, in the sense of Damachi, instead of basically where we would have basically, I would say, sorry, I just need to try to think. I'm trying to think basically because of his stats, and let me just double check. Okay, it took me some time. I just was trying to make sure. So, yeah, it's his magic level is 1, 2, 0, let's say 9. So basically, double S. His magic level is at double S rank. Okay, to be fair, Kakashi, Hokage, like I said, this is my opinion, but honestly do think because of chakra control. I mean, chakra-wise, the more chakra you use and such, and the more chakra control you have, and due to the fact that Kakashi did have basically the Sharingan that kept on depleting his chakra, and then when he always refueled it, it should basically give him more chakra to use and such after he loses it. So, yeah. I mean, that is what I think, and from what I know from the show, well, from the anime, so he basically should have more chakra as a Hokage and such. He may have lost, he may have basically, you know, probably lost some of his skill because of the Hokage position, but he may have gained it back after Naruto got it. So yeah. Well, I'm just saying is that's what I think his magic level should be, for now at least. As basically Hestia, we also see Bell's name has changed from Kakashi Hatake, Hataki, not Hatake, Hataki basically. And then there's a slash and he goes Bell Cornell, which she goes Bell, which he goes, Goddess Hestia. So what did my stack go up? In which she would not. She was, yeah, so she basically, gets the paper out after she puts down that orb, for his stats to go up and such, and, put it down. She gets the paper, makes that circle, and the stats there. She goes, Belle, how do you have magic? And how can you have this much? Which, basically, before she can't even say anything else, he basically looks at it. He's just smirking at it. He goes, so, Cammy was right. Which she goes, I'm right here. He goes, not you. She goes, wait, who are the gods did you basically... He goes, okay, first off, I'm going to explain it, but I'm not going to tell you everything. Because there are some things basically, though, he actually thinks about it, he actually goes like, wait a minute, let me just do something real quick. As then he goes into, a meditative position and starts to meditate. In which he goes like, Belle, why are you meditating? Tell me, come on. As he basically kind of gets a little bit irritated, he goes, Goddess Hestia, I need to go through all the information that I have to make sure. And plus, if I basically do not want to miss anything, so I can explain it to you of what I think you need to know fully. And I can get this done quicker if I do it like this, if I can go through all of basically my memories. So please, be quiet, and thank you. It's Belle. We're not gonna have him freaking change, be like being rude and such. I mean, for right now, basically, when you just basically suddenly get a whole lot of memories, have a dream of basically your, having your path and that literally gods from another world put you into a new world that she watches over but doesn't do nothing to it because other gods exist. And just, do nothing, basically. Just, the other gods are there, so she doesn't do nothing, and just, put you there and such, giving your past memories back. All of a sudden, you have to go through, and you get a little bit irritated when you need to go through all of them. So, I would say, of an hour of meditating after going through all his life, and remember what, his old world's god, said to him. He basically opened up his eyes and looks at basically, when he gets up and looks at Hestia, he goes, alright, I'll tell you everything of who I was, and the reason why my name is Kakashi, Hitaki. And I'll even tell you the reason why, basically, or even how I even got here, but I won't tell you, anything else beyond that. She goes, why? He goes, old habits. She goes, what do you mean? He goes like, and then he says nonchalantly, he goes like, I was a ninja in my previous life. She goes, what? And she just looks at her with a bored look. He goes like, do you want to know anything, or do you want me to keep you in the dark? So she basically goes, no, tell me, please. In which he basically just nods. He goes like, good. So he takes a thought. He goes like, now, where should I begin? He goes, basically, I shall begin from basically my childhood. And so he tells her everything. Not basically ninja secrets like the village. and everything. And, well, basically he does what he would say, and basically as the ninja, probably probably like 30 minutes, and he was like, and so as a ninja, I was supposed to be, fight for the village from enemy ninjas, or mercenaries, or, bandits, to get money in a war I even fought in. She goes, wait, a war? He goes, yep, I had to kill people. Jimmy goes, wait, what, you kill people, Belle? He goes, a previous life. Just, but still. Well, she just sighs and be like, yes, I killed people. It was a part of basically my training. Well, and also it was supposed to be part of my job since I became a ninja of my, basically, village. Just, how old were you? 1 or 2 years younger than what I am now. Just 13 or 12. It was, at the war, it was earlier, I believe. It was so long ago, I forgot. Even if I do remember, I can't remember the age. As he basically is as he's thinking about it. But he just shrugs. He goes, anyways, which, she just kind of shocked, he just takes it nonchalantly about it. And then he continues on to tell them about his basically missions, his basically time with Minato, Obito, Rin, everything else that went on in his life, including his dark past by basically about his father, him killing Rin. His best friend became basically, later on he said he was, tell her about Obito, but just since he has, him killing Rin, and, everything after that. And then when he gets to basically his, death, and then basically his world goddess / god, and, how it basically, and how he got here. He was like, and that's it. I basically can't tell you the real reason why. I only know is that basically I could deal with basically what's going to come here, and basically Belle Cornell and me are exactly the same person, which they ourselves. But I just have my previous life memories. So she goes, so you basically combine the souls merge into one, still making Belle, but you're just, yep, I just have basically all my knowledge of my previous life, and I can use all my ninjutsus basically from my previous life as magic. And which I got all my chakra reserves. Or should I just say now my magic reserves. My magic reserves basically up to my Kage basically level. Kind of funny if you really think about it. And then basically all of a sudden he just realizes something. He was like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Why? Why was I like that? Why? In which she goes, huh? What was wrong? He was like, oh, nothing, Goddess Hestia. Nothing happened. Nothing was wrong. In which she goes, Belle, tell me what's wrong so I can help you. He goes like, no, you would look at me differently. She goes, it was from your previous life. He goes, yes. She goes, okay. I won't get mad. And he goes, no, you will. You will. She goes, Belle Cornell, tell me. As she literally, basically looks at him angrily as he just sighs. He goes, fine. I warned you. But I used to read a book called Icha Paradise. It was a series. It was made by the great Jiraiya, the Toad Sage of Mount Manaboku. In which she goes, oh, can't be that bad. And he goes, it was made for perverts. In which his face is going red. He goes like, I can't believe I read that. But to be fair, every ninja had their quirks. Others smoked. Others trained really hard. The life of a ninja was not easy. You had to find something to deal with, basically dealing with everything that happens, the death, the killing, just so you wouldn't lose your mind. As in, he feels killer intent. He looks at Hestia slowly. He goes like, Goddess Hestia? She goes, you read what? In which he goes, he kind of rubs the back of his head, and then kind of has a flashback to how Naruto does it. He goes like, I instinctively rubbed the back of my head like Minato Sensei and Naruto. She goes, Belle, you read one of your previous life? He goes like, look, you can't blame me. After everything that's happened to me, seeing my own father dead, basically seeing my best friend die, basically one of my friends right in front of my own hand. Basically, I basically needed some outlet, basically to keep myself sane. So yes, I read that. She goes, it was in private, right? He goes, no, I walked around with it. She just kind of like, she just literally then, like, all of a sudden, he gets hit in the head with something. It was a book. And then all of a sudden gets hit in the head with something else. He goes, oh crap. In which he just sees Hestia start throwing stuff at him and saying, how could you do that? You basically, well, any insult someone type of Hestia would say, basically vulgar or whatever. You know, basically a person. Which he just dodging and such. He's like, Hestia, God, Hestia, please come down. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna read it again. Basically, she stops in mid-throw. She was like, you're not? He just nods and he was like, besides, I still have these world's memories, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. Even though I have all my memories of it, I'm too innocent. I'm not gonna forget what I read, but I don't want to remember. I don't think I'm right for that. As his face is going red, though, just by embarrassment, she just Hestia's looking at Belle. She puts down basically, what she was going to throw at him. And she just sighs, like, alright, but I don't want you to read that anymore. Find something else to read, which basically, he will nod. He goes, Cammy told me that. Even though basically Cammy could change her, the gender to male or female, so yeah. But still, they told me to find something else to read. I was like, no, you're cruel, basically, I said, but I kind of can see why I was told to find something else to read. I'm too innocent. At least I wanted to kill people. She goes, no, you're not doing that. In which, then she just kind of sighs now again. She goes like, so what are we going to do? Which he goes, He basically just starts thinking, which basically is how his old, personality come back a bit. Which he just says, well, I need to start my training. Get in my basically chakra natures back. She goes, chakra natures? She goes, yeah, I had basically, if I remember correctly, wind, water, fire, and lightning. Plus yin yang release. Maybe an earth. Yeah, earth nature. In which basically she goes, huh? He goes, oh, chakra nature is basically elements of the nature. Yin yang release is kind of something that helps you with basically doing genjutsu and other ninjutsus. She goes, oh, I have no idea what it is, so don't. Which he just says, I won't explain no more. But I also need to basically get some new gear. I wish I had basically some shurikens and basically kunais. Maybe even Tanto. In which he goes, huh? It's a weapon that basically ninjas used. I also am good with bows. Well, bow and arrows. Ninjados. Tantos. Basically ninja string. It's basically just it's just some things I'm good at. But then he basically looks at then he just realized he looks at his stats again. He grabs the paper and he goes like, I'm gonna have to train all over again. That's what Cammy said. In which basically, Hestia goes like, well, it's a good thing that you do. So, what you going to do? And then he goes like, I don't. And then basically he just knows something. He goes like, goddess? She goes, huh? What's this? She goes, what's what? He goes, the skill, Realis Freeze. Which she goes, Realis. She basically like, grabs a paper and, really quickly she goes like, what skill? Which he just, kind of basically look at her. Basically, and then his ninja instincts are kicked in somewhat. Basically saying she's trying to hide something. And then he just sighs and like, as this skill basically involves me, of me basically progressing or something really quickly to help me. Which, basically, she would kind of just nod slowly, and then he goes like, and if I know, it may basically limit me. Stump me. She nods. In which he decides again, he goes like, alright, I'll pretend I didn't see it. Alright. She goes, huh? You're not going to? Which he nods no. He goes like, if I don't need to know, I don't need to know. It's kind of one of those things you pick up basically when, as a ninja. Classified information is not not needed to know. You should never try to go look for it. So, yeah. Anyways, goddess, I'm going to go to basically the dungeon. As he finally gets his gear on and such, then he basically looking at his knife. He goes, I'm seriously gonna need to ask for some kunais and shurikens. Maybe I need to find a blacksmith that would basically make them for me. Then he just sighs again. He goes, hey, but we don't have the money. I should really try to see if I can do a chakra exercise real quick. So basically, though, Bell will run up. Well, Bell / Kakashi. I'm just gonna say Bell still. He will run up basically as Hesse, come follow him. She goes, Bell, what are you doing? As she just sees him basically running out, basically to basically a lake nearby. As such, basically, she'll basically be huffing and puffing, wondering what Bell's going to do. As basically he closes his eyes and, he basically does the hand signs for basically one of the Uchiha's signatures, basically, techniques. He basically then, after basically doing the hand sign for this, he just says, in his head, fire style, fireball jutsu. As then he, going through the motions of basically trying to do it, all of a sudden just a puff of smoke comes out of his mouth. He goes, water! As in he just, immediately goes drink water and, basically, he goes, how, well, I'm gonna have to start practicing. In which Hestia goes like, Bell, what were you doing? He was like, one of my ninjutsus. It was a ninja, basically, ninjutsu basically called fire style fireball jutsu. Fire release. In which, basically, she just starts blinking. She goes, you can breathe fire? He goes, yes, by manipulating some chakra, fire nature chakra, I'll be able to, make basically a fireball. And those fireballs can be shot into basically multi-fireball jutsu as little ones. Or Phoenix Flower Jutsu. There's a wide variety of fire style jutsus. She goes, oh. In which basically, with Bell's basically looking, just saying like it's the most obvious thing. As then basically he just kind of realizes that he goes, this is gonna be a hard time trying not to, basically think everyone knows it. She just basically blinked and she goes, was it common knowledge in your village, in your old world? Which he nods. He goes, yeah, I lived in a place called Konoha. Or known as the hidden village, the village hidden in the leaves. And it was basically part of the fire country? Yeah, fire country, basically. So a lot of people knew how to do fire release jutsus. There we go. She just nods slowly, which then basically he gets up, he goes, alright. And then he puts his hand, basically makes, cross signs with his two fingers. As then basically closes his eyes, gets the amount of not chakra, but the amount of basically magic he has, and thinks to himself, hopefully this will work. Then he just says multi-shadow clone jutsu. As then two poofs appear. And they are, shadow clones. In which basically he basically nods to them and goes like, I'm surprised it actually worked. Which basically Naruto goes like, yeah, we already know what we need to do. Get the chakra control up and our skills up basically with chakra. Well, in this case, magic. Which he just nods. He goes, yep, pretty much. Which one of them says, I'll find us some leaves nearby. If we don't have any leaves, we can try to use grass then. Which basically Arabelle just nods. And so when he looks at Hestia, Hestia just blinks and her eyes widen. She says, you can clone yourself? He goes, yep. Very good, basically, jutsu. The multi-shadow clone jutsu, or shadow clone jutsu, is a physical copy, basically, of the person. They basically are solid clones. They can take a few hits, depending on how much chakra you put in. I only used 2. I basically used... Then basically he tries to sense the chakra as he would, but it's only magic, and then he goes, huh, so my sensory ability is still there. When she hears him say that, he goes, sensory? He goes like, yeah, I have a pretty good, sense of chakra sometimes. Or, all the time. But I didn't think I was going to get that. But I think it's only basically with magic, so it's only my own. So, I would say I used up, almost, if I basically would put in percent-wise, I used up all my magic up to 5%. Which her eyes widened, so basically his double S rank magic went down a lot to basically be 5%. And so he basically says, but what I need to try to figure out in this world, basically, if I can gradually basically get magic regeneration. Unlike with chakra, it basically doesn't regenerate just after a short rest, or basically eating or sleeping. Sleeping, maybe. Doesn't matter. Basically, it was enough not to make me start panting. So, Hestia just has a blank look on her face. He goes like, Goddess Hestia? Are you alright? And she's just saying, yes, Belle. I'm just gonna go to work. You 3 do what you're doing. Which, basically, they say, bye, Goddess Hestia. As in, basically, Belle looks back at himself and goes like, do you think I overwhelmed her? The other 2 just nod. And then he just sighs and be like, alright. So, as basically, though, he basically leaves the 2 clones to do what they need to do. As he what he will do is just walk the same path he would in canon. Then Seer will appear like, excuse me, did you drop this? In which basically he'll look behind her, basically, and he'll see basically a monster basic piece of crystal. He just starts blinking. He's like, takes and goes like, I don't think so, but I might have. Thanks. Which she goes, no problem. Wait, are you a Venture? He goes, yeah. Basically, he's thinking, I never met her before. But this does seem suspicious. I'm gonna let this go. Not let this go to, see where it leads. Then he kind of blinks, he goes like, I'm already starting thinking like my old self. New life. Don't need to think about that. Which she just kind of sees Belle being a little bit, irritated. She goes like, did I do something wrong? He goes like, no, it's just, I'm just mad at myself for dropping something. It's not you. She sighs in relief. He goes like, that's good. So, do you mind basically, I'll ask you a question? Which he basically just tilts his head to the side and goes like, alright. She goes, do you have anything to eat, basically, when you go in the dungeon? Which Belle would say no, since he basically doesn't go down to the lower floors. He can't, he doesn't really think he'll need to basically eat something down there for right now. Even though he would like to, but he can't. In a sense, Seer would just basically like, give me a moment, and then she'll basically go get her bento box, as he'll like, no, I can't take this. I mean, this is yours. She goes, don't worry about it. Besides, I guess I can grab something to eat here, as it's just a tavern. As he goes, are you sure? She goes, uh-huh. Also, it'd be nice if you come over basically to eat here. When she's just blinking, he's like, really? Just, yep. So, would you please come, here again for the night and eat? Giving him basically a puppy dog look. In a sense, basically, his new self basically, tried to basically try to resist it along with his, his past self, but his newer self is, waning, Whale is basically breaking down. And he just sighs like, fine, I will. But I won't have much money on me since I'm only down to basically the 3rd floor. She goes, oh, well, I can help you out if you want, which he goes, nah, it's fine. I'll just try my best to basically get as much ballast as I can. But, thank you, sir. So I got, as she goes, no problem. As basically, Belle would leave. As basically Belle would think, nice girl. But, as then he kind of remembers what his grandfather said and such, he goes like, he ain't like my basically father. But I'm glad Grandpa was around. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Jiraiya. Then, he kind of thinking though of his new life, basically what everything happened and such. And so, when he gets to basically the dungeon, he goes, well, I guess basically Grandpa was like Master Jiraiya. But I wasn't corrupted. Kind of funny. I mean, Kerr and I wouldn't believe it. Which he kind of remembers how, well, his death was coming all of a sudden, even though all his basically friends knew, including Kerr and I, that he may have like a month to live or so. Well, another month to live. Which he kind of just sighs, like he just says to himself, I hope Kerr and I, basically my other friends there, basically, weren't basically upset that upset with themselves not getting there. He does have a sad look because that basically kind of seeing them cry and blaming themselves kind of basically does make him hurt a bit. In which then he just sighs again and be like, well, time to get going. So, basically though, he would basically also recollect, basically remember though about how he wanted to know about Eyes Wallenstein. And basically how he need, to get stronger towards that person. In a sense though, he would basically say to himself, there are many people in my old world that basically can match her, or even go beyond the people of this world. So, maybe I really should combine basically my old basically personality slightly, take the good parts of it, and then basically add it to this one. Will make some sense. But should I keep up my, as Guy would say, hip attitude? It'll annoy some people. Why not? So yeah. So in a sense though, when basically Kakashi would go, well, not Kakashi, well yeah, Kakashi / Bell will go down into the 1st floor, he would basically automatically, would see basically monsters and run in to fight them. And so, by the time basically, he gets to the 3rd floor, he has basically been using this to work with his taijutsu and his basically, on how to work with it with fighting with, monsters, and also how basically to see if he basically try to fight with his knife. In a sense, he basically does realize that their first encounter, it is going to take some time, and he is going to need to get used to it. So, he basically has determination in his eyes to basically to do so. He's thinking, I have to basically get my skills up to par. I have to basically be ready for this world, whatever that's going to come at me in this new world. This is getting exciting. It's been a while since I really did see many action. Well, of course I was an old man. He'll be thinking this in his head and such. So, yeah, so like I said, first encounter, he thought all that, continuing on, now third floor. He's at the fourth, basically, floor's basically entrance. Then he sighs, though, he goes like, well, I have to go back. Not ready for this yet. So, meanwhile, he was thinking, though, of basically getting stronger, and basically eyes Wallenstein. You know, to try to basically catch up to her, along with basically his sensei, and basically the other Kages. You know, basically people that he knows that he needs to try now to basically to get to their level. Because he knows when he gets to Aiza's level, who's next. So that's what he's having. People are very ready to be that next person he should try to go, achieve. And so he will get up to basically, back to the guild. Get his vows as, he will see Edna, there we go. He would see Edna. She goes, Belle! Where she goes, huh? Oh, Miss Edna, hi. Anyway, she's just thinking, I should really stop saying that. Nah. I really shouldn't. They're used to me saying it besides. Like I already said to myself, new person. Keep my old traits, the good ones. So, when he gets there, he was like, she'll ask basically, how was, your time in the dungeon? He goes, well, I went to floor 3 and I got to, the 4th floor entrance, but I went right back. She goes, good. Now, is there anything else that happened recently? He goes like, well, I got magic. She basically, her eyes wide, goes, really? He goes, yep. But it's kind of weird. She goes, what do you mean? He goes like, I have a lot of it. But she just blinked and she was like, wait, really? He goes like, yeah, but I don't feel like, telling you at the moment how much. She goes, why? He goes, you'll be shocked by it. Which she goes, it can't be that much. He goes, which Belle just blinks and goes like, I'm not trying to be rude, Miss Edna, but please, do not underestimate me. Then he thinks to himself, well, at least Naruto used that basically to his advantage. Then he just blinks, he's like, I should use that to my advantage too. Huh. That's a smart idea if I go against people who think I'm weaker than them. So yeah. So Edna just like blinking, she goes, I'm sorry, Belle, but it just should be like impossible to be a lot. Especially when you just got it. Which he just nods, he goes like, true. But I don't have any paper on me to show my stats, and I don't feel like showing you basically my stats. So, he'll see Edna sigh, she goes, fine. So, where are you going afterwards? He goes, well, maybe getting some food, and then I'm going to try to go back into the dungeon tonight. She goes, why? He goes, well, I gotta get Valus, and I need to buy a couple of things. So, she just blinks and she goes, oh, you sure? He goes, yeah. She will just nod and be like, okay. Well, I'm glad that you're thinking ahead. That's good. He goes, uh-huh. Well, anyways, bye, Miss Edna. And basically he would leave. In which basically Edna would say to herself, he's thinking ahead? He didn't think about that originally. Did what happened to him yesterday basically change him slightly? And so we will have basically Belle again back. Hestia's not around. He basically would go. Well, Hestia's not around yet, so basically he decides to go to his clones, as he would see basically his clones basically doing leaf bouncing exercise and using basically a stone pillar, basically to walk up and down it while spinning basically the leaves, which. I mean, he would look at the clones and tell them that's enough, as basically they will get down. As he would just look at them and goes like, so, you guys did that all? Which they nod. He goes like, yeah, we didn't get that far as what we wanted to. Basically, now, that second one was like, yeah, we were going to try to basically get water walking. And so basically, Bell would just nod and goes like, "Can one of you basically try to see if you can basically use a fireball?" Which basically the second clone says, "I'll try it," as basically as well as when basically the second clone does the hand signs, and basically try to basically manipulate the basically chakra fire nature into fire nature chakra. I would say it's a small fireball, in which basically he would just not be like, "That's progress." Which basically the first clone would just nod. He was like, "We'll try basically do basically fire nature chakra chakra control exercise tomorrow." He goes, elemental manipulation. In which basically the second one we were like, "Yeah, this is gonna be difficult." As basically as Bell like, what was the Naruto's clan always saying? The first one was like, "This is gonna be troublesome," which basically Bell just nods. He was like, "Yeah, it is." As basically the first one would release himself, as the second clone would wait, as then it would release itself. Basically, 10-minute intervals basically. As he'll basically go through all the knowledge that I just did and such, as then he'll basically test it out, basically, walking up the pillar and such, and walk down it, then basically run up it and then down it, which he'll just nod. He was like, "Alright, I should basically have a lot, basically, of magic then. I'll have Hestia basically check my stats when I get back." And so, basically, I'm trying to keep all the stats the same. So, just give me a minute. Okay, so actually, now if I actually really think about it, since basically he's already know he needs to get stronger and such, and he basically having like basically a point in his mind, which is eyes. He doesn't know about Realis' freeze. Basically, progression of him will basically increase. This is basically, and basically he knows about the people he needs to catch up to are his old world's basically Hokages, and and the people basically he knows that are strong. So, in a sense, this actually may increase basically as he knows he needs to get stronger. He's very quickly. So he has to go through all of this, and this is the only way how he'll be able to get stronger. So with Realis Freeze and work, and the people he knows on the strength of, and he needs to catch up to, it's most likely basically I just realized all his stats are gonna jump significantly, but not big. So like 77. His stats 77 will probably jump to maybe like 203. Yeah, I'll just tell you what I think after I write it all down. But magic, probably only it's 1,209 with chakra control and everything. Well, magic control exercises that it just says chakra. Kind of basically, probably be like 300 by now. So yeah, give me a minute. Okay, so basically, his strength is 203. His endurance is 193. His dex is 275. And his agility is 400. And his magic is 1,313. In which, basically, after after basically Hestia did the stats and seeing this, he's like, "Huh. Wow, that's a big jump." In which he's thinking, so basically it's that skill. It does help me. Hestia says, "Huh. But I can't basically, rely on it to basically help me. I have to basically ignore it and basically, because it's a tool. It's not a title, and basically I can't basically rely on it always. And my stats. I have to basically focus on my physical, basically, strength, and my basically skills. So just ignoring it would be a good idea," as he nods to himself, which she goes, "What were you thinking?" And she's thinking, he knows. he knows. He goes, I'm just surprised by basically everything jumped. But with the amount of basically magic I have, I should probably buy some MP potions. In which basically she's like, huh? He goes, well, I want to try and increase my magic, and so I need to try to work on basically, getting a jutsu on my hands, but it's gonna be difficult to get it since even though I remember how to do the process of everything, it should be second nature to me. This body ain't used to it, and I also need to work on everything else. Including my stealth, my hand sign speed, my basically deduction and reasoning, basically of enemies' attacks. There's a lot of things I need to work on. Well, basically, which as goes like, well, it would be nice. So you have any plans for the night? He goes like, oh yeah, I'm going to the tavern nearby. One of the workers there asked if I, would like to eat there. In which she goes, huh, so? In which she goes, well, she gave me the puppy dog look, and I basically tried to resist it, but knew herself, he just shrugs like, couldn't resist. Basically, when she looks over at Hestia with a glance, and he can see her again frustrated. In which he goes, basically he does look at her, but she sees the gleam in his eye. But she goes, Belle, well, you have a gleam in your eye. He goes like, well, it looks like you're getting a little bit jealous, Hestia. Like, goddess Hestia. Which her face gets a little red. She goes like, I'm not getting jealous. Besides, do you know if this girl is? Which just nods no. He goes, just met her today. She did give me some food, since I didn't have anything. Which basically Hestia would just kind of blink and goes like, oh yeah, we don't have food here sometimes to eat. So you missed breakfast and you would have missed lunch. He goes, yep. I ate it there. I ate some of it when I got there. After I got to the second floor entrance, I ate some of the food. Then I basically finished the rest when I got in the middle, basically the third floor. I was hungry. Which he sighs, be like, alright, just go. And so Belle says, I'll bring back some food. She goes, alright. So, yeah. When he gets to the tavern, Sierra will be there. Bring him to, the table where basically Mommy will feed him food. Basically. As he goes, huh, this is a lot. But he thinks to himself, hopefully, basically, this will actually help me. The calories basically I will burn with basically training would actually, help. And basically, Mia would say exactly what she was saying canon, and basically look at Sierra with a glance. She'd just look in a way, be like, see if something's interesting. And he goes, she set me up. Clever. And so, when the Loki familia comes in, basically, everything will go exactly the same. It's just, basically, he knows how weak he is already, so he won't be bothered by it. Well, much. So basically, when Bet is saying everything he would do, everything that he was saying canon, it's just basically Sierra will be looking at, basically over at Belle, because everyone's just laughing, and she can see his eye twitching a bit. She goes, Belle? Is everything alright? He goes, sighs like, yeah, that was me. She goes like, oh. He goes, basically then when they hear Rivia, and when he also hears Rivia basically saying that it was their fault and Bete doesn't care. In which he just kind of like, literally eye twitching. He was like, oh, so he didn't care basically if it's their fault. He's still saying I was weak and I shouldn't have been on that floor. This world's maybe the same. The weak were devoured strong. And so after that little fight, just continues eating. So I want to say is after basically Bet goes on to be more saying some stuff, your eyes would say exactly the same thing. The only difference is though, I think basically Bet will be looking over as basically he sees Belle talking to, Mia, the owner, as she just sighs and you're like, you have to go get more money. He just nods. And she goes, alright, thank you for letting me know. Just finish up your meal and then, you can head out and get it. He goes, thank you. Thanks for understanding. He does smile. She just chuckles like, no problem. Just don't get yourself killed in there. He goes, I won't. So he's finishing up basically his meal as Bet gets up. And because he will see the white hair, he will be, kind of curious. As basically, when he gets to Belle, he kind of hears the footsteps. He just sighs mentally. And then he has a smirk, thinking to himself, if Naruto was here, he may not like this or guy, but this would be a good prank. In which basically he, Bet's like, hey, do I know you? As then basically, Belle would just look over at him and basically, he before he even says anything, he goes like, hey, it's the Tomato Kid! Which then Belle would activate, his inner Kakashi, his inner self. He goes like, huh? You said something? As he tilts his head to the side. Which, basically, all of a sudden, many people start laughing at that bit. Which basically Bet's, getting gets mad immediately. He goes like, what, you couldn't hear me? He goes like, nope, couldn't hear you. So, what did you say? He goes, you're the Tomato Kid. Tomato Kid. I don't know what you mean. Which, he goes, the woman that was covered in Minotaur blood. Which basically Belle would make that O face. He goes, the one that basically you let escape. Which he goes, so? You shouldn't have been on the 4th floor. Wiggling like you shouldn't even trying to become a basically, adventurer. Which basically he just shrugs it off and be like, maybe. But who's for you to decide? Anyways, obviously he turns back around, finishing up his meal. As basically Bet's getting a little bit angry at him. As he's about to, grab his look, he goes like, now, Bet, let's not start a fight here. And then she basically, say, Mia here basically looks like she's about to, have a mean talking with you. As he looks over and seeing like Mia, the owner, just looking with a glare, and he kind of backs away a bit. And he just kind of looks at Belle and then scoffs. He goes like, weakling shouldn't even try. As then basically, well, as he kind of, Belle just grins at this because he knows what he's going to say. After basically he leaves. Well, not after he leaves, on the way he leaves. And so, well, after he finishes it up, he saying thank you to Mia for letting him basically at least try and get the money. It may take him some time, but he'll get it. She'll just, saying she'll give him basically a week or so don't worry about it. Which he would nod. So when he's basically walking out, he'll walking past Bet. And then he'll stop. He goes like, you remind me of somebody. Which Bet's like, really? I bet they were awesome like me. He goes like, no, they're a loud blonde idiot. Which, he just walks away. Which Bet's like, wait, idiot? He goes, I said loud blonde idiot. But a good person. Didn't look down on others. Boast about his abilities, yes, but never look down on people. So, a better version of you. As that, everyone just being quiet as Belle just walks out and just leaves. Bet just gets mad as Eyes just realized who that was. And so, with basically before Eyes can get out, Belle uses some magic and just jumps onto the rooftop. First time trying this, as he's thinking, a little bit too much. As, yeah. She basically doesn't see Belle. But, she kind of just sighs and such, as before, Betek even tried to come out, they already tied him up. So, he would get to the dungeon entrance, and he kind of would just get, kind of show his irritation, which he could be thinking, he needs to basically try to get stronger. And he also needs to pay back Mia for the meal, so. But yeah, so basically his desire to get stronger is still there, and he will basically go up in stats again. He basically will kill the monsters up to exactly the same floor Bell was at in canon, and then he will get back up with basically the amount of crystals he has, and has to look over, be looking for him being worried and such. Hopefully he didn't, hopefully he didn't die again. As then basically she will look as Bell will come back with blood, covering him a bit, like in canon, and then Hestia will come over, running and hugging, catching him and hugging him, and then basically he would just, tell Hestia, well, instead of I want to get stronger, or I need to get strong. Say I not that. I want or I need to. He goes, hey Hestia. She's looking down at Bell. He goes like, I'm gonna get stronger. Besides, I really think I need to get stronger. Yeah, I underestimated the monsters here. In which basically, she would basically just nod at him. Saying, even though he has the memories of this world, he still need to learn everything. He goes, yeah. So, can you help me out, Hestia? Not Hestia, Goddess Hestia. Help me get stronger. As strong as I can be. In which, she would nod. She goes, alright, Belle, I'll help you out. And he goes, good. I'm sorry about this, though. She goes, huh? What do you mean? As then he just basically falls asleep. In which, basically, she just blinks and then chuckles. She just says, well, Belle, or Kakashi. Now, Belle. Let's get you inside and let you have some dreams. And so, she will get basically Belle into the church, into the is down to their little home, onto the couch, basically, and let him sleep. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. Sorry about the pausing and trying to figure out the stuttering. Trying to make this, first part a good video. But anyways, I'm going to get going. You guys have a nice night, day, wherever you are, and bye.